you're choosing between Riverside South and Findlay Creek right now, this is something that you're going to want to know. One of these communities just became something that Ottawa has literally never had before. And if you don't understand what that means, you may pick the wrong one for your life. My name's Bekkers. I sell real estate in Ottawa and specifically the South End. I've put buyers in both of these communities, and the answer to which one is right for you is not what it was 2 years ago. Riverside South has shifted in a structural way in 2025. Findlay Creek has not. That's not a knock on Findlay Creek. It's got its pros, but this is true. By the end of this video, you'll know which one fits your life, which one to walk away from, and why the buyers who got into Riverside South in the last 18 months are sitting on something fundamentally different. So let's dive in. We're gonna start with Riverside South, because this is where the story is. Riverside South just became the first community in Ottawa actually being built around its transit and not the other way around. Now, that sounds like a marketing line, but it isn't. Let me show you what I mean. Limebank Station opened January 6, 2025. This is the end of the Trillium line. From the platform, Carleton University is 17 minutes away. Bayview 35, which is connected to the entire LRT network from there. Line 4 to the airport from South Keys, also not far. But the station isn't the story. The story is what's getting built around it, on purpose, as a part of the master plan. So far, we have Armstrong Plaza directly across the street from the station. Open and operating so far, there's McDonald's, Starbucks, BMO, Jimmy John's. My favorite is a golf simulator. More and more businesses are coming in throughout 2026 and the coming years. The Riverside South Secondary School at Spratt and Earl Armstrong is open as of September 2025 with grades 7 through 12, 1,500 students. That alone changes the math for any family who used to be staring down a daily commute to Maryville or Catholic school in St. Francis Xavier. And there's more coming. Limebank Center is going to be a 213,000 square foot retail development anchored by a 49,000 square foot grocery store directly adjacent to the station. The city just approved 18-hectare district park, a community center, public library, all steps from the platform. It's also mixed use, transit-oriented town center core on the drawing board for the immediate vicinity of the station. This is all commercial development coming directly around an LRT. Every other LRT station in Ottawa got dropped into a neighborhood that already existed. Confederation Line, the rest of the Trillium Line, all the same story. Stations bottled into street grids that were designed before the trains were a thought. That's why so many of them feel like they're floating in a parking lot. Riverside South is the first place in the city where the order is reversed. Station first, right now feels like it's in the middle of a field. And then the town center, the high school, plaza, library, district park, arenas, all of it built around the station, planned together, designed as one piece. That has not happened before in Ottawa, anywhere. So what does that mean for a buyer today? You're not just buying into a community that's developing. You're buying in while a transit-oriented town center is being switched on around you. The Riverside South move in 2026 is not the Riverside South you'll be in 2030. The community is projected to roughly double over the next decade. That's an upside of almost no other Ottawa neighborhood can offer, because everywhere else, the bones are already set. Now, pricing-wise, detached homes here are sitting in the high 7s to mid 900s, with some going above depending on the builder and the size. Townhomes are in the low 6s, and builders are mostly Mattamy, Richcraft, Urbandale, and Tamarack. Mainly newer construction, modern layouts, newer mechanicals. Now the catch? Armstrong Plaza is open, but Limebank Center grocery store isn't built yet. For your full weekly run, you're probably still heading across the Vimy Bridge to Barhaven, or maybe up Bank Street. And if you're commuting downtown, the LRT is real, but it's still a 35-minute ride versus about 20 by car. So you're trading drive time for not having to drive. For some people, this math works. For others, it doesn't. So let's shift to Findlay Creek, because despite everything I just said, this may still be the right answer for you. Findlay Creek sits east of Riverside South, between Leitrim Road and Albion Road, near the southern edge of the Greenbelt. Detached homes here average around 840. With the upper end pushing past $1 million. Townhomes in the high 5s to mid 6s. The buy here is a little bit different. Findlay Creek is a community that's already become what it's going to be, and that's its core selling point. The Findlay Creek Village Center on Findlay Creek Boulevard is a working commercial hub. Now, there's another hub coming with Farm Boy and a few other businesses, but we already have grocery, pharmacy, medical services, restaurants, cafes in the neighborhood. You can run your week without leaving. For families with young kids and tight schedules, that's day one convenience, may be the entire pitch and the reason you end up there. Now, the schools have a track record. St. Bernadette Catholic Elementary, St. Francis Xavier is the Catholic high school actually in Riverside South, and the new Findlay Creek Elementary that opened in 2024. Strong public options across the area, and French options are incoming as well. This gives parents a good community with established culture and real reputation. Not promises, but actually track records. Findlay Creek also has a genuine connection to nature, with direct access to the Greenbelt, as well as the Findlay Creek Boardwalk. These are real trail networks. It's not the Rideau River, but it's a meaningful outdoor asset, and it's woven through the community. Now, on the transit question, I want to be fair about this. Findlay Creek doesn't have an LRT station inside the community like Riverside South, but Leitrim Station is a short drive away. This is the same Trillium line, same downtown connection, airport access. So if you're someone who's fine driving 5, maybe 10 minutes in rush hour to a park and ride and hopping on the train from there, you've effectively got LRT access as well. It's not the doorstep experience that Riverside South is building, but it's a lot closer than most Ottawa suburbs ever get. If you don't already have that in your current life, this is worth factoring in as well. Now, the real trade-off here is what comes next. The community is largely built out. What you see now is mostly what you're going to have in 10 years, with a little bit more residential density. There's not a lot of compounding upside still to come from infrastructure that hasn't arrived. The value here is mainly what's already there. And for the right buyer, that is exactly the appeal. The buyer profile skews to mid-30s to mid-40s, people who have done this starter chapter, who want established services in an active community, who want to skip the in-between phase entirely. Not pioneers, but planters. So when you strip it down, there are 3 real differences, not 5. Not a checklist, but 3. 1 is timing. Findlay Creek is done becoming what it is. Riverside South is in the middle of a structural transformation that has not fully arrived yet. If you want the upside of being early, Riverside South. If you want the certainty of being later in the game, Findlay Creek. 2 is transit. Riverside South has the LRT on its doorstep with commercial being built around it. Findlay Creek has LRT access at the Leitrim Station, a short drive away. Both communities have transit access, but only one of them is being structurally designed around it. If transit is part of your daily life, that distinction matters. If you'll use transit occasionally, both of them will work. Number 3, convenience today versus convenience tomorrow. Findlay Creek wins right now on a day-to-day convenience. Grocery, schools, services, all running. Riverside South wins on the trajectory. The secondary school is open, plaza is filling, grocery and town center are approved and coming. If you need it all working today, Findlay Creek has a little bit more. If you can live through what's currently in Riverside South and wait for the upside, that is the option. So here's where I get specific. Choose Riverside South if you've got a flexible commute, or you'll actually use the LRT. If you want exposure to a community that's structurally going to be different in 5 years than it is today. If your kids will use the new school, if you actually use the trails and the water, and if you're okay with Limebank Center's grocery store still being a year or 2 out. You're buying into the trajectory. So choose Findlay Creek if you want everything functional on day 1. You value Greenbelt access and an established community. If you've got young kids who benefit from already running schools and parent networks, and if you're fine with Leitrim Station being a short drive away instead of a short walk, you're buying into the certainty. Walk away from both if you need real downtown walkability. Transit running every 5 to 10 minutes instead of every 12, or any kind of urban density. Then look at Old Ottawa South, the Glebe, somewhere directly on Line 1, because neither Riverside South nor Findlay Creek will ever become that. And pretending otherwise is how buyers end up unhappy. If you're seriously looking in the South End and want someone who actually knows these communities, not from a listing sheet, but from placing buyers in these communities and living in them, book a free consultation. The link's in the description. So if this video was helpful, please subscribe to our channel because I cover Ottawa's South End deeper than anyone else is doing right now. And I'm not slowing down. So I'll see you in the next video.